welcome. This is Miss Lady CC with Leaders in Purpose. And who is that leader? Who is that leader? That is you, and Mr. Alan Black here. He is our guest. He was on our last session, and we having a fantastic discussion. We found out how, the beginnings of his wonderful journey here, and how we ended on how our tests made us. Our tests, if our tests don't break us, what you say now?
If it doesn't destroy you, it's only going to make you stronger.
That's right. If our tests don't destroy us, it's only going to make us stronger. So we want to go ahead on and open with giving honor to those who've gone on before us, whether it be our relatives, our soldiers, those that we know and we don't know, who died in peace, and who died for peace, who died for righteousness, who died for the good, 30 seconds. Next, we want you to bring your joy over here. We want you to bring your love over here. We want you to bring your inner and outer peace over here, honey, because we use those vibes to heal, to send out healing vibes to anywhere and everywhere there needs some comfort. Anywhere and everywhere there needs to be somebody's feeling lonely right now and they don't think they can make it. Anywhere and everywhere they need some hope, honey. We want you to go ahead and send those vibes on this way. Send those vibes on this way, honey child. And then we're going to go ahead on and check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. We want you to go ahead and get out your moral codes, your code of honor, whether it's from a holy writing, whether it's from your favorite speaker or your favorite saying or whatever it's from. Those things that allows you to treat yourself right and allows you to treat others right. Like for instance, with the Bible, it says, thou shalt not. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Okay. Now, have we stolen anything? Have we stolen somebody else's time? Have we walked out of the? I remember, and even I still do this. If I'm in a store or in a bank and I use the ink pen and I walk out with the ink pen, I'm like, oh my God, I got to take this back. A lot of times they say you can have it, you can have it. But it's like, that's still stealing. Stealing is taking something that don't belong to you. I know I had an acquaintance with me in the store. We was getting pineapple whips. And while we were at the QT and while we was getting pineapple whips, she went and filled up her cup full of pop and didn't pay for it. And I was like, I hope don't do that no more with me. Because people probably thinking that you getting I tell Liz, I'll go get the pineapple while you go get yourself some pop. No, honey, don't steal with me. No. No, honey, no, we can't hang out. Don't you steal with me. So have we stolen anybody else's time? Have we stolen anybody else's rights to music, words, and not giving them credit? If so, let's repent of that. We repented of that, picture ourselves doing the right thing, and give ourselves a hug for doing the right thing, okay? Now go all the way down your list, whether it's the 10 Commandments, whether the 42 Laws of Ma'at, or whatever it is. You go down that list and give yourselves a hug every time you did something right. And when you didn't do it right, you go ahead and picture yourself doing it right, the positive effect on yourself and the positive effect on others, okay? And then next we're going to go ahead and get grounded. I mean, you can just feel the negativity coming out and the positive come in. We're just going to go ahead on and get our tap on, tap. A psychologist, and they've been doing this for years and years and years. But the psychologists in this day and age, they love this. They tell us to go ahead on and tap to feel grounded. And so you just go ahead and tap underneath your nose, tap your chin. I tap my shoulders on top of my head first. I go ahead and tap my palms up, tap with palms down, wrists with palms up, wrists with palms down. And then I just go ahead and tap up and down my side and all the way down to the floor, down my leg all the way up. And I do that twice. And it just feels just good just to get all that old energy in and put some new energy. Get all that old energy out and put some new energy in. So thank you so much for being here with me. Want to go ahead on, and we're going to get back to Mr. Alan Black with the story of his life, a leader in purpose.
Thank you again, CC. So we were finishing up, and that 25 minutes went so fast, but that's okay. But
I was under 5 minutes, sir.
I look at the '60s for me as being very foundational as far as what I had to go through. I'm old enough that I can remember going to Peony Park and going to get something at the concession stand. And I remember they said, well, we don't serve.
That was Peony Park was racist, y'all, for real.
And I remember they said that, and I said, I think I was 8 or 9. I said, well, I don't drink that anyway. So I want me a Coke.
Okay.
So it was like, they looked at me and I looked at them. I'm like, if you think I'm going to back down, that ain't happening.
Okay.
So finally got my Coke. But those kind of things were pretty much a regular for some of us in the 60s. I remember when went on a church retreat. And the purpose of the retreat, CC, was to take the kids from the inner city, and we would go out and spend a week at a farm out in Fairbury, someplace out west Nebraska. So I'll never forget, we went out there, I might have been 10 or 11 at that time, and so working on this farm. So I'm urban, I came from the hood, okay? So I'll never forget the first morning we were there. Oh, they're waking up everybody like at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm looking around like, is the house on fire? What's going on here? I thought, is there an emergency? I mean, they said, we got to get up and start going out and doing the farm. And I'm like, bro, it's dark outside. What are we doing? And so I was totally confused, like, it's dark outside. And they said, well, this is when we get started. This is how we do it on the farm. And I thought, well, this ain't for me. So I knew right away. I said, okay. But my parents had told me before, you're going to experience something totally different, and this is going to be important for you. So we did that, and that was an interesting week. There were some elements of some things I had to face, because I'll never forget. We went one afternoon after we got through with all the farmer stuff, and went swimming in the pool. Okay, so I'm like, okay, this is cool. And I was in one city, my sister was in another, but I was managing to check on her every day. So that particular afternoon, we went swimming. And so I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I jumped in the pool. Everybody who didn't look like us jumped out of the pool.
Oh boy,
and
in your
so,
face.
In my face. And I thought to myself, oh, it's like that. I'll never forget, I said, hey, thanks for the pool, yo. I got a private pool. Because I'm like, it's again, that's my father's trend. You're going to have to deal with this, and you can't be a punk.
Yeah.
You're not nobody back you down.
I hear you.
So if they thought that was going to traumatize me and make me break down, I was like, y'all gave me a private pool, so I'm more than happy.
Okay.
So I spent the afternoon in my own private pool, and I went back and I told the people at the farm what happened, and they were embarrassed and everything, and they were apologizing. I said, don't worry about it. I said, it was kind of cool having a big old pool to myself. And when I got home, I told my parents, and I told my father what happened. He said, I'm proud that you handled it the right way. He said, because you're going to face things like that, but you've got to know how to deal with it and deal with it in the right way. Some people might have been traumatized. Some people may have been discouraged by it. But I was like, Cece, no, y'all not going to make me back down and make me ashamed.
Okay.
But my attitude was, that's y'all's problem, not mine. But, again, we had to deal with those kind of stuff. I went to junior high. And that was a process because we were one of the first classes of black students to integrate the junior high I was at.
Oh my God, here in Omaha.
Yeah, it was in Omaha.
Which one?
McMillan Junior High.
McMillan?
This is about 67, somewhere in there. And so there had been a couple of classes before that, but we were among the first classes to help to integrate McMillan. That was a constant battle.
I'm sure.
It was a constant battle of the racism, the prejudice, the threats, some of the kids being chased home every day, some kids being shot at.
Oh my God.
Things like that. But again.
And not even know if you're going to pass class because the teacher may be racist and won't even teach you right.
That's true.
At all.
But at that point, again, it's just like, okay, everybody who came from my grade school, we all went to McMillan together collectively, of course, as one class.
Oh, that's good.
So we understood when we got there in 7th grade, oh, this is how it's going to be. So we learned immediately we're going to have each other's back.
See,
Because if something happens to one of them, it's going to happen to all of us.
village.
It was the village. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say I was purely innocent a lot of times because me and the village got in some trouble sometimes, but we had to do what we had to do.
Okay, now.
And so again, but those are the kind of things that you have to go through that are going to make you stronger. I was always of the pick that, you know what, this is not going to destroy me. I refuse. Because whatever it is I have as my destiny, even at 13 or 14, I knew there's something out there for me. And whatever I've got to go through, I'm going to get through it.
Yes.
Because I look back now at, say, my ancestors, my elders, and I look at what they went through.
Ooh, child.
And so for them to get through what they went through, my attitude was I have no excuse to act like I'm going to fold up like a cheap tin because I can't face it. I can't. That's not how it's going to be. So
I do. I have to give you a standing ovation because it does. But I'm not gonna say I was a community activist and I was out there fighting it in the streets. I know growing up, my mom shielded us from it by avoiding it and not letting us participate in any of the things that went on with us being as black or melanated people. But for you to face everything with such strength and such courage is just so encouraging to me because I know even when I was going to school, I saw all kind of things in the books that weren't true, and it just upset me to the point like I will not lie I will not lie just to pass a class. I won't lie just to pass a class. And then another friend of mine said that he said, well, what he did do is even though he had to put in the answer that the teacher wanted, he always wrote on the side such and such and such and so. Did you have to find yourself doing that as well?
I did because I realized, okay, this is what I have to do. But at the same time, I realized that, okay, all this just cannot be true. But I understood that there were certain things you had to do to get to where you were going to go. And I knew that even when I got to high school, there were going to be things I had to deal with. I'll never forget when I was a high school senior. And I was doing excellent academically. I'll never forget my guidance counselor in front of my mother was telling me and my mother, well, he's had a good high school career and I'm sure he'll find a nice trade or something like that to do because he's not college material. And my mother looked at him and said, oh, he's going to college.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, oh, I'm going to college. And when I get back and get my degree, I'm going to shove my degree up where the sun don't shine.
Oh.
Okay. I'm like, because ain't nobody telling me who don't look like me what it is that I can't do.
Okay.
Now, my only regret is when I did graduate from college, he had retired. Because I did want to find him and shove that degree where it didn't shine. But I said to myself, you know what? No, if you tell me what it is I can't do, I'm going to move the earth and make sure I do it just to prove you wrong so you can eat your words.
Okay. And see, I love that attitude. Unfortunately, I didn't have that kind of attitude, but he had parents who supported him and who prepared you for it. They supported you through it. And where I didn't, my mom and them, they handled it in a different way. Some parents just give in and say, we're not going to fight it. We're just going to go along with it. We're just going to stay quiet. But some parents are like, hey, you deal with it, but you come out strong and you come out as best as you can.
And we had to do that. The era, the friends that I grew up with from my grade school were still close to these days because we all had to go through that. We all have been through a lot through the years. But as we said at the beginning of the show, it did not destroy us. It just made us stronger.
Made us stronger.
But it's also a testament to the fact that we look back now and we realize that what our great aunts and our grandparents, great grandparents went through, they went through way more worse things than we did.
Oh, they did. I mean, you look at the book. I wish I had the book here, but I don't. The book, the Delectable Negro by Vincent Woodard. I didn't know, but I found out there's two different kind of Christianities. There's the nationalism Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the regular Christianity where melanated people we could honor our ancestors, honor our people who are honor our ancestors just like melanated non-melanated people honor their ancestors. Abraham Lincoln, we honor them in school. We honor them with statues. We honor them, but we can't honor ours. But anyway, but with the Christianity that was introduced to us, because remember they didn't want us to have any power. They wanted to keep us. They had given us the slavery Bible, which took out anything, any Bible, any parts of the Bible where somebody was stood up for themselves. It was always yes, some massa. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And then the Delectable Negro, it tells about how in slavery they not only brought us over here for slavery, but they brought us over here to eat us. And on the holidays they would skin us alive, cook us, and then serve us as dinner, and serve us as the family meal to other family members. And all these were by Christians.
Suppose it.
Well, you gotta remember Christianity. I mean, you gotta remember racism starts in the Bible, and the reason why racism starts in the Bible because it says, was it in when it talks about Abraham, when it talks about it said the dark skinned people will serve the light skinned people at all times. Remember that one? Because what the non-melanated people teach in their churches and what the melanated people teach in the church is two different things. But in most of your non-melanated churches, they teach that difference, that it says your people are supposed to serve the other people. And I should have those scriptures and I don't, but you believe I will have it next time. But your people are supposed to serve the other people for the rest of their lives. They're supposed to be slaves to the other, and that's where racism started in the Bible. That's what they put it in. But then if you look at the other Bibles, we have the Ananakian Bible, we have the Ethiopian Bible, we have the Goddess Bible, we have other Bibles, and they're the Bible put out by patriarchate, nationalism, racist supremacists is the only ones that come at it like that. They're the only ones that's put together like that. And not only is it they're racist against melanated people, but also the hatred of women. And there's just so many things in there that they don't teach us about, but I've learned to look at the other things too. So
That's the great thing about the time and the place that we're in now, is the fact that now one of the great things about the technology age is the fact that we're now getting so much more access to information.
yeah, the Akashic record.
And you cannot deny individuals the opportunity for them to learn about themselves.
Exactly.
So what's been kept in the dark spiritually will always come out to the light at some point.
It will.
So I'm encouraged with, say, social media right now because of the fact that so much more is coming out, which is the truth. It's so enlightening, and one of the things I've done for my great godsons is the fact that maybe it was about 2 years ago, I've given them Black History type books. I've given to my godsons one of the first editions of the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Yes, written by black people.
Yeah.
By black people, like the African origin of civilization is a difference compared to the African origin of civilization that you would find in the schools, that you would find in the libraries. A lot of the books that our ancestors, that our peers wrote, like Francis Cress Wesleyan, is not in the schools and is not in the library. They're just not. It's just not there.
But the great thing about this now, what's happening with, say, this time period, is the fact that the information is now available. And what's going to happen, I'm going to predict this. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're starting to see a shift away from, say, the traditional K-12 school environment because of the fact that a new generation is saying that, you know what, you're not teaching me what it is I really need to know, who I really am.
Exactly.
And so we're going to start seeing more and more homeschooling.
Yes.
Particularly within communities, because they want the real story to be told.
Exactly.
And my concern is that, okay, within the traditional K-12 model, will they at some point honestly and truly embrace truth, whole truth and nothing but the truth? My answer to that is no. Because historically, we have not told the whole story of what's real and what's accurate.
Exactly.
So what's happening now, what is going to happen in the next 10 years is you're going to start to see more homeschooling, particularly within our community, because people are going to be saying, I want my kids to really know who they are, where they came from. You came from, we have come from.
Exactly.
Kings and queens.
Exactly.
We've come from people like the Moors, people like that. The
and
history.
and Native Americans. We were also the original Native Americans. So really, this land is our land. But they take the melanated Native Americans. Not only did they genocide us out, our ancestors out, but they took our melanated Native Americans and start calling us Negro instead of Native American.
Because we were here before actually the Native Americans. Now, true history will reflect that there has been documentations by anthropologists in terms of say, okay, the cradle of civilization is Africa, as we do know, and we have been all over the world, South America to Mexico, to the Canadas, to Europe. A friend of mine, his wife is from the Philippines, and he showed me CC some really interesting photos from maybe about 100 years ago of Filipino people who you could definitely see had the African American influence in terms of how they appeared.
That's because melanated people were the first people to inhabit the earth all over the world. All over the world. The Caucasians didn't come in until the Caucasoid Mountains, and that was during the Ice Age, because they say our African ancestors they left the village and they journeyed. And from me to me, for them having to leave the village, I believe it was our really light skinned brothers and sisters, and people make fun of them and they call them names because they're really light and they can't stand the light.
Yeah, I can't think of the name right now. I know what you're talking about.
So I apologize for them treating you so bad, but you know our brothers and sisters, they were really light and they couldn't stand the light, and then they left to go to another place and they got caught in the Ice Age, and that's when they got caught in the Ice Age, their hair and they morphed to be with the temperature. You know, it was cold, so their hair had to grow long and stringy, like
reflective of what the environment was, because there is the geographic influence of the cultural development of a race of people.
Exactly.
That's always been historically the case, because in that situation, the origins of where they were from was not going to suffice for them to be in certain areas of, say, the European continent.
Exactly.
Because they would not be able to physically survive. So, geographically, they began to change to adjust to the climate that they were in. There are documented pictures of African Americans in Russia, in the coldest parts of Russia, who evolved to reflect what the geographic location was for them in order for them to survive.
Exactly. Said perfectly, for real.
So it's interesting when I look back now and I think about the fact that I've made it this far mainly because, more than anything else, I had a village that believed in me. I had a village, and hopefully this is what we have to get back to. I had a village that said, you know what, this is the standard. You have to meet this, you have to go above and beyond. But what I will not accept is you lowering the bar.
Exactly.
And settling for less than what you can become.
Yes, and that's a lot of, even though you may or may not have went along with whatever they put up, those bars are being set all over every race, every tone. We're setting those high bars, and I believe we should bring those high bars together, because our differences is our strength and our sameness is our foundation. Before we go, can you let us see your books?
So what God has led me to do, and it's been an amazing journey. These are the two books that I've written. The first one is called Here I Am Lord. And I think I gave you a copy of this one, CC. And the second one is called In the Spirit Intended. And it's been an amazing journey for somebody that I say realistically came out of the Spencer Street projects, and one day God commissioned to become an author. And honestly, I had no intention of becoming an author.
Wow.
It was not my dream. It was not what I saw as my purpose. The title of your show is Leaders
In Purpose.
in Purpose. And so I think sometimes what we have to keep in mind, CC, is that leaders in purpose does not mean that it's going to be your purpose. It might be divinely ordered as far as what the purpose is actually going to be.
I hear you.
And so are we then going to be open and be obedient to whatever the purpose is that you're being called for? I'm going to go ahead and say it. I imagine you thought, oh, life is good. But at some point, you were being led to now do this TV show. Maybe it wasn't what you were thinking, but the purpose was calling you and drawing you to it.
Yes.
And here you are now doing this fantastic program.
Thank you.
And so we always have to keep in mind the leader that we're going to be and the purpose that we have will not always be about what we think it should be. It will be divinely ordered because that's what God is calling you to do. Are you going to be obedient and say yes? That's
All
the
right.
question.
And we're going to end it like that. Thank you so much for being here with us, Miss Lady CC on Leaders in Purpose, and Mr. Alan Black.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, y'all, for being here. We want to thank Chris Craddock and Mike Wallace and KPAO for having this platform for us to walk in our giftings and our purpose, the ones that we may not say, but is this what the divine is saying that we should be? All right. In and out of peace to all.